Hey y'all, it's Emily from J. Bowen and Company, and on today's video I am going to show you how to take ugly, outdated art and how to update it by giving it an elevated style. You can either use it in your home to decorate or you can sell it for major profits. The supply list is very simple. You just need a paintbrush, a can of paint, some cleaning products, and a little bit of time. The first technique that I'm going to teach you is called dry brushing. This frame in itself wasn't too bad color-wise, but there were some little chips and nicks and things like that. And it just really didn't pop with this little squirrel print that I had decoupaged on the back of the cardboard part. So this is called dry brushing. What you're going to do is you're going to put paint on your brush, but you're not going to get it really wet. It's just going to have a little bit of paint, so it's kind of still what's considered dry. And you're just going to lightly brush it on the frame. The point is not to cover the frame entirely. You want some of the wood to show through. So if you're covering it all the way, that's not what you're wanting. And remember, do not saturate your brush with paint. You just want to dip it in there, kind of take some of it off, and then just paint lightly so that you still see the wood. With this technique, you can still see the wood and it doesn't have to be covered completely. And so I really like that because you still see the beauty of the wood coming through. You still see the paint, but you don't have to completely cover it. So if you get a chip or something in the future, it won't matter because the technique is not perfection, it's just dry brushing. Okay, so this next piece of art, I actually have 3 pieces that go together. These are World War II replica old prints. They're really cool, but the frame just was really not looking good. It was kind of like that vintagey office frame, but not in a good way vintage. Anyway, the first thing that you're seeing me do here is use the wet wipes, the Clorox bleach wet wipes. I like to go over the painting or the print, the piece of artwork, probably about 2 different times with that, just to sanitize it. I clean it really good. That's what I'm doing here. It's very important to clean your frame. I know y'all all know what cleaning looks like, but I want to emphasize that it's very important to clean the frame before you paint it, because if you don't clean it and you leave dirt and grime on it, the paint won't stick. So that's why you have to clean it. And it was just really dirty to begin with. But anyway, originally I bought these. I saw them at the thrift store. I didn't pick them up because I thought the frame was kind of plastic. And then I got home that night and I was like, that was so stupid. They were only $5 a piece. These are large prints. They're really cool. And anyway, I went and got them the next day. All I'm doing here is painting it black. Just makes it look modern. You see the picture instead of that old rickety frame. Anyway, I'm going to keep these for my youngest son's room. They actually look a lot like something that you would see at Restoration Hardware or Pottery Barn. I just loved this photograph of these slabs when I first saw them. I thought they were so classic and looked just so good. Anyway, but you know, that frame, once again, it had some gouges in it. It was kind of this red-brown color that just really isn't my thing. Even though I do love all kinds of wood, this particular color, it just wasn't doing it for me. So anyway, I am just cleaning it once again. I told y'all earlier that I was using Clorox wipes. I believe that brand is actually Lysol Wipes. brand. I don't even know if Clorox makes a brand of those wipes, probably so, but anyway. So you're just going to clean these photos, the artwork, not the actual painting or the photograph. When I say clean them, I'm talking about the glass and the frame. The glass and the frame. If it's a painting, you better be very careful because you could mess it up. Don't spray anything on it, you know, maybe a damp rag or something, but don't spray anything on it if it's a fine, you know, piece of art. Anyway, so you're just going to take your Lysol wipes again, wipe it all over, and then you're going to I use that Automagic Spray. I use it on everything, my countertops. It just makes the countertops and the glass on these frames just look so good. I'm going to put links to these products, to these Amazon products, into my account. Some of them are not on Amazon, some of them are. I'm going to put them in the description, so if you wish to purchase those, you can. Of course, if anyone purchases them, I would make a small profit. So here I am just putting the coal black paint on the artwork again, and you can see as I put the paint on the frame, and now I'm using a full coverage paint on this particular frame. But the good thing is, if you want to distress it, you can. It's not a chalk paint. It has a sealer, so you can't just wipe it away with a baby wipe. But you can lightly sand it with some very fine sandpaper, and you can distress it back. And that looks really great, too. I love the look where, you know, it's black, and then it has the wood coming through. That looks really good to me as well. And then if it ever gets scraped, it doesn't matter because, you know, it's not a perfect painted piece. That's the problem when you paint something solid. If it scrapes, you know, you're going to notice it. A second ago, you saw me take that red orbital sandpaper there, and I sanded. There were some pretty big gouges in this frame, so I took that sandpaper. It's just 120 grit. I sanded it down. You can do that with your frames, and then you want to make sure that you wipe off all the dust and clean it before you start to paint. I originally purchased these two pieces of art just to use the frame, and I was going to remove the artwork, but after a minute they kind of grew on me, and I thought, well, you know, I could give them a chance, and I put them in my booth, but I only paid $2 a piece for them. And so I thought, if they don't sell, I can always remove them and put some different artwork in the frame. I didn't really care for that light pale color wood. I literally had kitchen cabinets that color in the 90s, and you know, it's just not my favorite color. Anyway, so I decided to take this green. It's called Conservatory. It's from Fusion Mineral Paint, and I decided to paint it with that, so I would make the artwork just look a little bit better. But it's kind of a light color, so I knew that I was going to need to put a wax over it just to make it look a little bit darker. Because it's the fall time, I generally would make the frames look darker, so I put a dark wax. If it was a springtime, I would probably more likely put a white wax on it. But here we are in the fall, so I'm going to go with a dark wax. And I'm using the Antiquing Dark Wax from Fusion Mineral Paint. The thing is about the Fusion Mineral Paint, it has a sealer in the paint, so you don't have to seal it. That's the beauty of it. That's the part that I really like about this paint, because you just don't have to take that extra step of sealing it. It just saves you time and really money too. But anyway, you can see me just wiping away the excess paint here. And then after it dries, I'm going to take out that antiquing wax, and I'm just going to wipe it on there with I can't remember if I use a rag or a paper towel here, but one of the two. I think I used a paper towel here. It's a good idea to use a lint-free rag, but I don't think I did on this one. And here I am. I'm finally putting the dark wax. It just kind of gives it a richer, more old look. Just kind of gives it a little bit more character, I think. A little bit more depth to the frame. So you just rub it on, and then you just rub it off. It's very simple, and it just gives it a little bit more depth to the frame. And here they are. They're in my booth out of the Cedar Chest in Gainesville, Georgia for sale. And I like how they add a nice pop of yellow to my booth. This piece is a little bit different because I actually framed the art in here. I purchased 2 of these frames. One had a picture of a boy and the other had a picture of the girl, but the one of the boy was very faded, too faded to save. It just didn't look good anymore. So I took it out and I framed this piece of art. It's JRV paper that I actually sell at my store. It's a beautiful piece of art. It's an impressionist piece. I actually used to paint this style painting back when I was in high school, and I did a number of these paintings. I used to love to paint like this. But anyway, that's a side note. So here we are, taking the frame. I'm just painting it black again. It's taking this kind of 1800 style painting, and it is just giving it a little bit of modern flair. I am covering it with paint. My brush is covered with paint, and I'm just painting it up, and I think that it really makes it pop and look modern. Hey, if y'all like this, I would love for you to follow along so you don't miss out on the next video, and it also helps my channel grow. I am just trying to grow my channel. I want to help people learn how to update their art for their own home or for their booth to sell. It really improves the value of the art, and it will help you make a lot more money if you want to sell it, and if you want to keep it, it will look fantastic in your house. So what's your opinion? Do you like the black mixed with this style painting? Do you think it looks good? Can you see how the art pops now instead of seeing the frame? This is another large piece of art. It's a print, and it is a really sweet piece of art. But that frame, y'all, that frame. So it is a piece of 2 ironstone pictures with, looks to be like black-eyed Susans in it. It's just really pretty. It's really on trend. Those ironstone pictures are popular right now. And I just thought it had kind of a fall vibe with the yellow flowers. So the frame was brown. The wood was brown with a gold, kind of like a little inlay piece. The frame was the wood was really dry, so it had kind of lightened up. It just looked a little rough. It just, it wasn't doing the art any favors, but I could tell that the actual artwork was neat, and it was on trend with what people are liking these days, what I like. Anyway, so I decided to clean it really good. Like I always tell you, they were so dusty because they'd been out in my garage. One day I purchased all these pieces of art, or most of them, from one place, and they just sat there in my garage until this weekend when I needed to add some art to my booth. That's exactly what got me started, is because I just needed some large, substantial pieces for my booth. So anyway, here I am cleaning it up once again. Then I'm going to take that, you guessed it, black paint. I love how that black paint looks. You could probably do it green if you wanted to, but the black just makes it look so good. And being an artist, that modern black with the frames, it just makes that artwork pop. So you're going to see me just give it a good coat of paint. And then I decided that gold was just too shiny and bright. It just looked like 1970s, honestly, or maybe 80s. I don't know. It didn't have the greatest gold vibe. So I thought that I would tone it down. You'll see me in a second take the paint and just lightly kind of dry brush. Right here I am. I'm dry brushing the gold, and so you can still see the gold, but it's going to give it a more brassier look than gold. And then after I do that, I'm going to give it another coat of paint, but then I'm going to take the metallics gold paint, And I'm going to go over the entire black part of it just to give it a shimmer of kind of a brassy look. And at first I wasn't sure if that was the best idea because it did kind of lighten it up a little bit. But after I did it, I actually ended up liking it because it just kind of gives a little bit different look. I ended up wiping some back so it wouldn't be quite as covered, but in the end, I think it looks pretty nice. So here it is for sale in my booth. If you didn't catch my last week's video, you need to take a look at it because I took all kinds of thrifted items and I made them look like I made them look like brass, but faux brass, just by painting them black and then adding on this same gold metallics. They look amazing. So you need to go check that video out if you haven't seen it, and I'll put a link to that in the description. So obviously this is the little girl. This is the matching girl that went with the other framed picture of the little boy that was faded. And here it is in my booth. So take a look around and see what you think. My booth is now full of artwork. I think it looks good for the fall. What do you think? Oh, and there's a little banner that I made last week. If you didn't catch that video, you can watch that video and I can show you how to make these vintage style banners. Sticking around and watching my video. I'm glad you're here, and remember, hit the subscribe button to see more videos like this.